Arizona, homeowner's best friend.
We've primarily been talking fire because of the recent current event in the news and the cancellation notices that they've been receiving in Scottsdale. Not new to Arizona. It happens in other parts of the state as well. But you can be reclassified. Our daughter, Julia, bought at Old Town Scottsdale, Midtown Scottsdale, like at Osborne and Pima. And they had to get flood insurance.
That's right. Yeah.
Because of a remapping of the flood district.
They update the maps. Yeah. I do remind people, everybody's in a flood district. The question is severity. Where are you going to be when the flood happens, right? So they do map and they do update. Some of those maps are decades old, and then when they come through an update, it can be a shock for a homeowner because that wasn't the original part of the plan when you moved in.
We do quite a bit of remodeling work out in Rio Verde area, and Jennifer and I ride our horses out there almost every week. And I think people that move in that area from outside the area are surprised the amount of water that can get moving through there in a storm.
Yeah, flash flooding, right? Things like that. I do tell people before you buy a house, request from your independent or insurance agent what's called a clue report, which is really just what kind of claims have been on that house before you've purchased it.
Ooh, hey, no, yes. We need to add that to the Rosie certified buying process. Yes. I don't have that.
Yes, so ask your agent, get me a clue report. That way you can see if things like a flood or major, catastrophic event, or even just things unique to the house have occurred. Or talk to some of the neighbors. Hey, have there been things in the neighborhood that you've seen before? Because those things can pop up before you buy a house. You might also want to check the flood zone map. You can get that. It's public.
It's easy.
You can look at SWFire, right, consortium.org, right, that we just mentioned today. Just kind of get an idea of what happens right in the area before you get into it. And get an insurance quote while you're at it. Get a quote from your agent. What would it cost? All right, for the flood policy and homeowners policy ahead of time. That way you don't get caught off guard.
Make it a part of your due diligence.
Yes.
Boy, I'm adding that to the Rosie Wright approved home buying method. That's not one of my points.
And don't forget that flood policies are not covered on a standard homeowner's insurance. It's a totally separate policy. They're quite affordable, really, as long as you're not in the worst part of the flood zone. But definitely recommend you look into those, especially if you're in one of those areas, because as we mentioned on the last segment, fire and flood are often related, right? You have a fire, that vegetation's no longer there, then it creates erosion and that flood comes in.
Rosie on the house, every Arizona homeowner's best friend.